Hey there little snowflakes, it's me, More Than a Girl, aka Sydney, and today we are doing a response video to Blaire White. She made a video on otherkin, and being somewhat qualified to speak on the subject, I figured I would respond to it. So, I want to start this video off by saying that I like Blaire White, okay? I've been subscribed to her YouTube channel for a couple of years. I follow her on Instagram. I like her. I like her content. Most of the time, I agree with what she says. Sometimes I don't. If I'm looking down a lot, it's because I have notes, or else this video would be a million minutes long. Most of the time, I agree with what she says. Sometimes I don't. The key takeaway here is that you don't have to agree with everything a person says in order to like them or be friends with them or to enjoy their content on YouTube. But then she came out with this video, and it didn't make me angry so much as excited. An opportunity to educate. Oh joy. I left a lengthy comment on her video, but no one replied to it. A couple of Therians on Instagram put posts in their stories about the video, and so I was talking to them, and one of them kind of encouraged me to make a response video, so here it is. I hope Blaire sees it, because I think if she hears from a more level-headed member of the Therian/otherkin community, because let's face it, the people that were in her video, if you haven't seen it, go watch it, it's kind of funny. The people in her video are cringy as hell, okay? So if she hears from someone a little more normal, whatever that means, she might form a different opinion about us. One, maybe not think we're so crazy. So let's get started.
I kind of can't believe that I've never done a video on this topic before, as someone who's probably done a video on every single trans-related topic under the sun on my channel.
Therianthropy is not a trans-related topic.
But there is still a stone left to be turned over, and that is trans species.
No self-respecting Therian or otherkin would ever call themselves trans species, as it is incredibly disrespectful towards the transgender community. This term is not in use in the Therian or otherkin community. I'm pretty sure it was invented by the media to be inflammatory.
AKA otherkin.
Pretty sure that is a picture of a couple engaging in pet play, which is in no way related to being otherkin, though if that's your thing, then go ahead.
AKA a deep, dark internet hole that I kind of wish I hadn't fallen into. The things I do for you guys. So trans species, otherwise known as otherkin, it's people who identify legitimately, unironically, as animals.
This definition is not completely wrong, but she left out an important part, or the definition she looked up left out an important part. Otherkin identify as mythical or, mythical creatures that don't exist on Earth, on a non-physical level. Non-physical. And Therians identify as creatures that do exist on Earth, or did at one time, on a non-physical level. That is very important.
It's often conflated with transgenderism, which is annoying.
I am sorry that otherkin has become conflated with transgenderism. It is wrong and annoying, and it shouldn't be done, but this isn't the fault of Therians or otherkin. At least not the fault of any decent Therian or otherkin.
And I've never touched on this topic really, because I kind of always thought it was a joke or ironic in some way. I thought it was similar to being a furry, where to my knowledge, I don't know the inner workings of the furry universe, but to my knowledge, they don't legitimately think that they are animals. They dress up as that for hobbies or for, their kicks or whatever, which, no judgment, as long as you're not doing anything to hurt anyone. Rock on, furries. I don't get it, but it's no shade.
You are correct, Blaire. Furries do not identify as animals. They just like anthro-animal art and dressing up in fursuits and other stuff like that. Furries and otherkin have nothing to do with each other. You can be one or the other or both, but they are not inherently related.
Actually identifying as an animal, however, that is some other
A woman in Norway.
No, not the cat girl. She is a bad representation of the otherkin community. Sorry to say, no offense to her. But that's probably why the media chose to make her visible, right? No one gives a damn about boring Shirley working at the post office because she identifies as a water nymph, because she's boring and doesn't do weird shit like the cat girl does.
Believes she belongs to a different breed. She claims that she is a cat trapped in a human's body.
And it's kind of one of those things that people tend to use as ammunition against the concept of being transgender by saying, oh, you identify as a woman, I identify as an anteater. Checkmate, girl. So today we're going to take a deeper look into trans species.
Not a thing.
It sounded ridiculous. First up is a trans girl, trans deer.
The proper term is deer Therian or deerkin. No decent Therian would say that they are trans deer or whatever their stereotype happens to be.
Who currently has the entire internet very angry at her, and we'll get into exactly why. This is some weird ass shit. This is apparently a deergasm, but that's how they put it. What in the... Thank you. I need Jesus.
In my spare time, I go out to my yard and I prance around and I eat grass and I just munch it because it helps me feel like in tune with my dear self.
Dear self.
I honestly feel like the deer girl is trolling here. Never met a deer Therian who went into the yard to eat grass. That is just not a thing.
That is some other shit. So here's why everyone's mad. This person, Steph, was apparently hired on at Twitch as part of the Safety Advisory Council. So she's basically now a moderator of sorts at Twitch, which I hear it's very strict there in general. And now she's swinging her power around, acting really, really weird like this.
And
I don't really know anything about the whole ferociously Steph Twitch moderator drama, so I don't feel qualified to speak on it. I'm gonna skip it. That's only like a little over a minute of Blaire's content anyway.
So let's take a look at some other otherkin. This is from Anthony Padilla's channel.
I consider myself a British Columbia wolf and red fox Therian.
So that's different than otherkin, or is it in the same realm?
So otherkin is more of an umbrella term. So otherkin refers to people who identify in some way as non-human. Therian is a more specific term referring to animals that are living or were once living on this earth.
Basically, if it really
Can
existed.
someone tell me if this is a fetish? I need to know if this is a fetish.
The wolf dude, not sure what his name is, he's not wrong. And no, Blaire, it isn't a fetish. Though with the ears and the collar, I can see why you might think it is.
So what does being otherkin entail?
You identify usually spiritually or psychologically or both. I've seen cases where it's been neither, but you have this deep identification as something that is not human.
Again, Wolf Guy is not wrong. There is spiritual therianthropy and psychological therianthropy. I'm not sure what the part where he said or neither. I haven't come across any Therian or otherkin that is neither spiritual or that is neither spiritual nor a psychological Therian or otherkin. I'm just gonna say otherkin, right? Because that's like the umbrella term. I'm not too familiar with psychological therianthropy because I'm a spiritual Therian. I believe my body is human, obviously, but my soul or my essence or my spirit, whatever you want to call it, is not. Believing in the existence of a soul makes the concept of otherkinism, correct me. Therians in the comments, correct me. What is it? Otherkinity or otherkinism? Therianthropy. If you believe in the existence of souls, therianthropy becomes a lot easier to understand. At least spiritual therianthropy.
Okay, so my whole thing is, if whatever you're doing in life isn't harming other people or yourself, I don't have an issue with it. My issue comes with, like I said, how this is conflated with being transgender, which I feel like is a highly different thing.
They are two very different things, and most Therians and otherkin who have done their research know this. I think the reason some less knowledgeable individuals compare the two is because of the words identify as, and the fact that in both therianthropy and transgenderism, you look like one thing on the outside and feel like something else on the inside. Some Therians even experience something called species dysphoria, which sounds very derivative and maybe even offensive, but it is a state of sadness, anger, and frustration brought on by the disconnect between the way we look and the way we feel. I don't know if other Therians or otherkin experience this, but I know that I do. And obviously, I'm not sure if you have to be diagnosed with dysphoria. I'm pretty sure you do. But, yeah. I think it's a real thing.
Why hasn't Trisha come out as this yet? There's like a whole untapped market, girl.
Here's something I might do when I'm out there as far as a howl.
Sure.
God! Oh my God!
Whoa. How'd you feel when doing that? Good.
He said, whoa.
I can't with Blaire's face when the dude's growling. This dude is cringy AF, but not gonna lie, his growl and howl are pretty good. They are. Now most Therians would never dress or act like this unless they were around their pack mates. Yes, Therian packs are a thing, Blaire. Or trusted friends that they feel comfortable around, or if they were alone. Obviously, it's kind of rude to just growl at people.
I'm just gonna go.
I might just tear you to shreds.
Okay, I kind of feel like, you know, I don't want to like beat up on these people or like really go in on them, because I feel like this is probably some sort of just like, I would imagine these people have some sort of like deeper issues.
Therianthropy is not a mental illness. I have spoken to both a clinical psychologist and a psychiatrist about this, and they both said that if it doesn't impede your ability to function in normal society, then you do you, boo. Or something to that effect. However, it seems like a lot of Therians and otherkin do struggle with things like depression and anxiety, myself included, but it is debatable whether there is a link between the disorders and being otherkin. There is a term in the Therian community called coping link, which, according to Therian Wiki, is a person who knowingly creates a non-human persona as a coping mechanism. This is not true therianthropy because a Therian's stereotype or kintype, which is the animal that they identify as, is not consciously chosen. It just happens.
And we all have issues, right? Their issues are just different. I just personally, I don't like how all this stuff is called trans species.
I don't like it being called trans species either, Blaire. Good thing that's not the actual term. Only non-otherkin call otherkin trans species because the word provokes a negative reaction, and that can be used for self-serving purposes to further the transphobic agenda.
Transracial, trans, all this stuff, because it really does muddy the waters of what transgender is and what transsexuals are. You know, my only beef is when they say that it's comparable to being transgender, or when people use this against transgender people, because it's not even apples and oranges. It's like apples and a falafel or something.
You are absolutely right. They are in no way the same thing, like apples and falafel.
You know, being a transsexual is something that I feel like entails a very real medical condition, which is gender dysphoria. It's something that I feel like can be done to where you are existing harmoniously with those around you. Because obviously I am biologically male and I am a transsexual, but in the general society, in the world, I'm just some chick. So it's a little different, I think, in the sense that like you can't just be a deer and just roll up on someone and start eating their grass.
This is why I think being a Therian or otherkin can be really sad. A transgender person, given the proper resources, can live like Blaire as just some chick or some dude, right? They can be whatever gender they feel like, or whatever gender that they are. They can get surgery and hormones. I know it's more complicated than that, but, you know, like I said, given the proper resources, they can do that. I will never be able to be what I truly am. And a lot of people will say, you're human, that's what you truly are. And I agree. Obviously, my body will never be anything other than human until the day that I die. But I am not my body, okay? And some people may disagree with this, but my body is just a vessel for my soul. I am my soul, and my soul is not human. Disagree if you wish. We all believe different things when it comes to metaphysics, spiritual mumbo jumbo.
You know what I mean? And that was why I was a little freaked about the trans deer girl specifically getting so much attention, because I felt like a lot of people on Twitter were trying to say, there goes trans people being crazy again. And here, it's always that, right? But like, I do think the trans deer girl is crazy, but I don't think it's because she's trans. I think it's because she thinks she's a deer.
Like being transgender, being otherkin is completely involuntary. Steph isn't a trans deer girl. She's a trans deer girl. Meaning that she's a trans girl and a deer. Also, unless Steph is trolling, which might be possible, she's entirely aware that she has a human body and doesn't believe that she is physically a deer.
Right?
Period.
That and like the super sadistic desire to abuse guidelines and rules to hurt people. That's another thing too.
So I'm going to end the video here at 8:42. There's only like a minute and some change left of Blaire's video, and it's mostly just a cringy clip of that Steph deer girl and Blaire's outro. So I hope that you enjoyed this video, or at the very least didn't completely hate it. I hope that Blaire sees it and maybe takes it upon herself to look into what therianthropy and otherkinism really is. Maybe talk to some otherkin that are less horrifyingly cringy. I suggest checking out the channel Therian Nation. The people who run that channel are very professional and knowledgeable and have been in the community for a very long time. Yeah, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and most importantly, stay special, little snowflakes. Bye!